Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Thursday, everybody. I hope your day and your week are going very well so far. Got a new day, which of course means a new MLB Player Prop video to share with you guys. But first, as always, people, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. It helps the channel grow, and it really does mean a ton to us. With a new day comes a new opportunity to go ahead and make some money. And I've got 3 picks to go ahead and share with you guys for tonight's MLB slate. We are being on the side of caution, though, tonight. The last week of the regular season, a lot of weird stuff can go ahead and happen there. So only 3 picks, but 3 pretty solid value picks. 2 of the 3 being plus money plays, and the data looks to be pretty good. We haven't had too many videos so far this week. Apologies for that. But in the one video we did back on Monday, we had a 4-0 sweep. So we are technically 4-0 so far this week on our MLB props going into today's video. So the vibes are riding pretty high right now. But guys, real quick before we dive into today's picks, a quick word from our partners at FanDuel. That's right, guys. FanDuel Sports and Guy Boston Sports FanDuel Sportsbook and Guy Boston Sports have partnered together to bring you guys this very special offer. It's very simple for new customers. You can use the link either in the description or in the pinned comment down below. And if you're a new customer and bet $5, you get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's right, guys. It's simple. You don't have to do anything else. If you've never used FanDuel Sportsbook before, you can go ahead and use one of our links down below, whether it be in the description or in the pinned comment. You bet $5 as a new customer, and you get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. It's free money to go ahead and throw right back in there to make some more money for yourself. You can't go wrong with those free bets, guys. And listen, football season's in full bloom. MLB playoffs are on the horizon next week. NBA's coming back in a few weeks. WNBA playoffs. There's so much going on. Hockey will be coming around the corner soon. There's so much you're going to be able to bet on with FanDuel Sportsbook. So go ahead and take advantage of this special offer. One more time, you can use the link down below in the description or in the pinned comment. Bet $5 as a new customer and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Shout out to FanDuel for partnering with us for today's video. All right, guys, with that out of the way, let's dive into today's picks. All right, guys, our first of 3 picks in today's slate. This is the only non-plus money play we have of the 3 picks today. We're targeting the Orioles-Yankees game, 7:05 p.m. first pitch. We're going Austin Wells of the Yankees under 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. This prop is available on DraftKings and BetMGM, both for -135 odds. And like I said, guys, the data is pretty solid. You see 8 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the under. It's an 80% hit rate with an average of just 0.7 hits, runs, RBIs per game. Even if you go ahead and switch that out to his last 20 games, pretty solid. 65% hit rate, 13 out of 20 games he's cashed the under. Averaging 1.7 hits, runs, RBIs. A couple big games there has kind of skewed the numbers there in the average. But overall, it's been pretty solid cashing the under here. And so far in 2024, 66 out of 108 games this year for the Yankees, he's cashed the under. It's a 61% hit rate with an average of 1.61 hits, runs, RBIs per game. And if all of that data didn't convince you, the head-to-head data also very solid. 5 of his last 8 meetings with the Baltimore Orioles, all of which taking place this season, he has cashed the under. It's a 63% hit rate versus Baltimore with an average of 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs per game. I don't know what an RBA would be. But more importantly, each of his last 3 meetings versus Baltimore, he's cashed the under, including the first 2 games of this series. So the numbers are looking pretty good across the board here for Austin Wells. And look at the insights provided by Outlier. Austin Wells has failed to exceed 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs in 10 of his last 12 games, an average of just 0.8 hits, runs, RBIs per game over his last 12 games. So really solid data there. And while we don't have any specific head-to-head data between Wells and Corbin Burnes, the numbers look pretty decent. So Austin Wells is batting .236 overall this year. You do see an increase in his batting average when he faces off with right-handed pitchers here from .236 increase to .243. So obviously that's not good for us, but .243 is still a relatively low number. It's obviously we don't want to see it go higher, but it's not a bad mark at .243. Especially when you take Corbin Burnes' numbers into consideration. He's got a .295 ERA overall this year with a .228 batting average allowed. But versus left-handed batters, it gets even better. That ERA drops to .260. The batting average allowed drops to .219. That's a really low number there. The home runs per 9, OBA, everything across the board drops there when Corbin Burnes faces off with left-handed batters like Austin Wells. So pretty solid data across the board. Again, the only data point I don't like is the fact that his Austin Wells' batting average increases from .236 to .243. But again, even at .243, that's not that high of a batting average to be too afraid of. So I like Austin Wells here with the under. Pretty good value. And actually, guys, for our next pick, we're going to go ahead and stick with this same game, this Orioles-Yankees game, and we're going with Aaron Judge here over 1.5 bases. A plus money play available on pretty much every sportsbook here for varying odds. You see every sportsbook has it for something different here. And the data on this one is not as impressive as the Austin Wells one, but this also is a plus money play, so that is kind of to be expected. Look at the last 10 games for Aaron Judge. 7 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over, averaging 3 total bases per game. He's cashed in 4 straight as well, including the first 2 games of this series versus Baltimore. Over the last 20, not as impressive. You see a 50% hit rate over his last 20 games. That's 10 out of 20 games. Still averaging 2.15 total bases per game. Obviously, some of that kind of carry over from the Paw Patrol curse. Still hilarious. But so far in 2024, Aaron Judge, 82 out of 156 games this season, he's cashed the over. It's a 53% hit rate, averaging 2.49 total bases per game. So he's been cashing this all season long. And the overall head-to-head data is not super encouraging. You see just 9 of his last 19 games, he's cashed the over versus Baltimore, just a 47% hit rate. He is averaging, though, 2.47 total bases per game over those last 19 games. However, a lot of those misses came last year. You see so far this year, now he had a really rough start versus Baltimore earlier in the season, but he's actually cashed this in 5 of his last 6 meetings against the Orioles. So of late, it's been pretty solid. And again, he's cashed in each of his first 2 games in this series so far. Looking down below, the insights provided by Outlier, Aaron Judge succeeded 1.5 bases in 5 straight games at home. He's averaging a whopping 4 bases per game average over his last 5 home games. So really solid numbers there. Now, the head-to-head data versus Corbin Burnes, we don't have a super large sample size, 6 plate appearances versus Burnes since 2018, but he has not gotten a hit off of him yet, so that is something to keep in mind. But again, it's a pretty small sample size, just 6 plate appearances in the last 6 years. Aaron Judge overall this year is batting .323. You do see a slight increase versus right-handed pitchers to .325. Again, not a massive increase, but an increase nonetheless. .369 BABIP. As ISO, you see a slight drop and a slight drop in his extra base hit percentage, but still a 50.7%. Very, very high mark. We like to see that number, obviously, when we're doing an over 1.5 bases prop. And looking at Corbin Burnes, we just talked about with the last prop. Now, obviously, versus left-handed batters, you see his numbers actually decrease, which for that prop was good. Versus right-handed batters here, the numbers increase, which, again, is good for us here. Versus right-handed batters, Corbin Burnes' ERA goes from .295 to .326. His batting average allowed from .228 to .236. His slugging percentage .348 to .379. Pretty nice increase there. And his extra base hit percentage, 26.4 to 30.3. 30.3 is still a pretty low extra base hit percentage allowed. I would like it. I feel a little more comfortable with a little bit higher. But again, this is a plus money play, so it makes sense why this is plus money. So decent data across the board, but you do understand why this would be a plus money play. Obviously, Aaron Judge is chasing 60 home runs. He only needs a couple more to do it. Right now, he's red hot. I just feel like he's going to get to 60. I know there's not a lot of games left, but he's been hitting really, really well of late. That's kind of been his year where he's been in these hot runs. He's on one of those hot runs right now. Again, he's cashes over with flying colors in each of his last 4 games, including 2 of those versus Baltimore. So I like the spot here for Aaron Judge a lot. For plus money, I think it's a really solid value. All right, guys, in our third and final pick from today's slate, we're targeting the Padres-Dodgers game, 10:10 p.m. first pitch. We're going Fernando Tatis Jr. over 1.5 bases again. This is available for plus money on Caesars, DraftKings, Bet365. Also available again on DraftKings for -105, Underdog for -106, and FanDuel for -110. So varying odds, but it is a plus money play on a couple sports books there. And again, for being a plus money play, pretty decent data there. You see 8 of his last 10 games, he's cashed the over. It's an 80% hit rate, averaging 3.1 total bases per game over his last 10 games. He's actually cashed in 6 of his last 7 to narrow it down a little further. And so far in this Dodgers series, he's 50%. He had 6 bases last night, 0 bases in the first game. But overall, pretty solid data. Look at the last 20 games. 14 of his last 20 games, he's cashed the over. It's a 70% hit rate, averaging 2.55 total bases per game. So really good numbers there across the board for Tatis. And like Aaron Judge, a 53% hit rate on the year, 52 out of 98 games this season. Tatis has cashed the over, averaging 1.99 total bases per game. And if all of that didn't convince you guys, the head-to-head data is also very solid. You see 14 of his last 23 games versus the Dodgers dating back to last season. He's cashed the over. It's a 61% hit rate, averaging 2.26 total bases per game versus the LA Dodgers, including 3 of his last 4 games. He's cashed the over. So overall, solid data. The head-to-head data looks pretty good. Really good numbers across the board here. Now, where you can see this being a plus money play, and I think why it is down below in the key matchup sets, although I still think the numbers are pretty solid down here too. Now, unlike the last bet, we have a pretty large sample size here for Tatis versus Walker Buehler. 24 plate appearances versus Buehler since 2018, a .292 batting average. Pretty high numbers. He's got 7 hits, 19 total bases, 4 extra base hits off of Buehler since 2018. And that .792 slugging percentage, also very important to look at. So pretty good head-to-head numbers there. honestly. Now look at Tatis so far this year, 279 batting average with a 320 BA BIP. You do see versus right-handed pitchers a nice increase there, 298, 322 BA BIP. His extra base hit percentage goes up to 41.2. His ISO 253. So across the board, you see a lot of green there. Some, again, the BA BIP is a very small increase, but across the board, the batting average and the ISO really high increases there for Tatis when facing off with right-handed pitchers. And then, so this is where I think the data is not the best. You look at Walker Buehler, overall 5.63 ERA this year with a 291 batting average, allowed 519 slugging. So really not good numbers across the board. However, versus right-handed batters, you do see that Walker Buehler, his numbers do decrease, which for us is not a good thing. For him, though, obviously, it kind of makes the season a little bit better. 4.71 ERA versus right-handed batters so far this year. Obviously still pretty high, but a pretty significant decrease from his overall mark of 5.63. His batting average allowed from 291 to 264. Another significant decrease there that doesn't fare well for us. His slugging percentage, 519 to 471. The only number that's only a slight decrease is the extra base hit percentage. It goes from 38.1 to 35.1. Now, although all those numbers don't fare well for us, all those decreases don't fare well for us, the good news is that even at these decreased lines, the numbers are still fairly high. Again, a 4.71 ERA, although it is a significant drop from his overall 5.63, still a pretty high number. The same goes for his batting average allowed, 264, pretty decent number. The extra base hit percentage at 35.1, decent number. So, yes, there all are decreases, and obviously it doesn't fare well for us, but it could be a lot worse. The numbers are still pretty solid. Again, for plus money or close to even odds, depending where you're betting it, really great value on this Tatis prop. So that does it for me today, guys. Those are all 3 picks from today's MLB slate. Thank you very much, guys, as always, for watching. One more time, please make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down below. We have so much great content on the channel here coming out. H to H just dropped for week 4 of the NFL. Just dropped yesterday. My college football picks will be out tomorrow. My NFL picks video will be out tomorrow. So I got a lot of stuff coming out, guys, over the weekend for football content. Obviously, we'll be back tomorrow as well with our Freaky Friday 5-leg MLB parlay. So a lot of stuff to look forward to, guys. You don't want to miss any of it. They're all free picks, so go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. I'll also start putting the picks in the pinned comment. You guys have been asking for it. I'll finally give in. We're going to put in the pinned comment. So all 3 picks will be in the pinned comment down below. One more time, guys, make sure to check out the FanDuel offer down below. New customers bet $5, get $200 guaranteed in bonus bets. All you got to do is use the links down below. And just because I want to see who's still watching this point, comment 12 down below. And if we go 3-0 tonight, one lucky commenter will receive a $25 free Amazon gift card. If we sweep tonight, which is only 3 picks, not asking much. We went 4-0 on Monday. We go 3-0 tonight on these picks. I'll buy one lucky commenter a free $25 Amazon gift card. So go ahead and comment 12 down below. Guys, I'll be back tomorrow with another MLB Player Prop video. Until then, I hope you're all winners. Have a fantastic Thursday.